locally by the station bringing families together, KUAM Communications and Coast 360 Federal Credit Union. Together, we thrive.
I mean, the last 2 years, reflecting on it, it's like, oh.
I started wearing these bifocals like this year, so like literally I am like reflecting and
yeah, you are
looking back.
They're nice though, man. They're nice.
Thank you. Typing has been like really
You
challenging.
look good today, Jay.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Right on.
You know who always looks good? Senator Chris Duenas has the best island shirts.
Oh,
I
wow.
want to say not just in the public sector, but he's got like those fresh island shirts that he always wears. And look who's in the Zoom room, perhaps.
Yeah.
Actually, Senator Chris Duenas rocking another one.
If I was him, I wouldn't have got out of bed this morning because he tried to get that bill overridden, and the override didn't succeed. Right, Senator? Where you at?
Hi, Jason. Hi, Chris.
Hi, Senator.
Off a date to the people of Guam here on the link. Jason, this is every shirt that I wear that looks good. It's because my wife bought it.
There you go.
Good man. Good man. Good man.
Give credit to the boss.
Yep.
But the bad shirts, those are the ones I bought.
Well, we haven't seen a bad shirt yet, Senator, so you're doing okay. That's a nice color. It's a nice color.
Thank you. Yeah, no, I tell you what.
You okay, though, Senator? You all right?
Yeah, I woke up this morning knowing that every override attempt and since Bill 11 was introduced to ensure transparency, check and balance, accountability when it comes to declaration of public health emergency just simply is the right thing to do. And, if I can't get an additional 2 colleagues to come along, I think it's important to continue to remind the people of Guam, that some of us are really, really trying to do our job. And that's one of our key roles. And another thing on this particular one, Chris, first of all, it's almost 2 years. And there has been a lot of emails, a lot of phone calls, a lot of rallies that have been put together by individuals just wanting to have their voice heard. Whether or not the public health emergency continues, what the executive order looks like, after a public hearing at the legislature, is something that really, this is what this is about. I think those who have opposed this bill and modifying the public health emergency law really have missed the mark in terms of what the intention is and have tried to put it out there that this is something that, the legislature is going to shut down the emergency. That is not at all what it's about. It's about the legislature being involved and the people of Guam having an opportunity to come and express their views so that maybe what the executive order looks like as it comes forward is more reflective of reality than just one unipower, one governor by the stroke of a pen saying, this is it. This is what we're going to do going forward. What's interesting, Chris and Jason, the administration kind of co-opted the condition of readiness for, inclement weather, storms, and put a P in front of it and called it P-Core. And you would have thought that by that design, especially almost going on 2 years, it would mirror, what we've come to know over the years in terms of what condition of readiness means. One is absolute imminent threat, right? 24 hours, hunker down, don't move, nothing moves. 2 is 72 hours onset, the like. 3 is, somewhere out there in the 5-day range where, we're getting into where we might have a tropical storm. 4, we're always in 4, right? So we've been in P-Core 3 for forever. We've come to appreciate that term.
Are we in P-Core 3, Senator? I want to be accurate here. We are in P-Core 3?
Yes, yeah. So we are in P-Core 3. And the thing is that ever since we've been in P-Core 3 and since the last surge, which I completely understand, public health and everybody else coming forward and standing up, whatever needs to be done to make sure that we control the spread and make sure that we have proper hospitalization, everything else, you know, that the capacity to care for our people. I completely understand that. And that's what the emergency powers really are all about. I mean, it's to be able to move quickly and mobilize, right? But the reason why I'm bringing that up is because it looked as though that mirror of condition of readiness was something that was going to allow for all these different stages to kind of be almost seamless, right? But that's not what's happening. And if you look in this beautiful Christmas season, if you go just about anywhere, I don't think the average person would believe that we are acting as though we're in a state of public health emergency.
Yeah.
My good colleague, Frank Blas Jr., you know, read the definition of emergency on the floor in support of this bill, and nothing that we're currently doing mirrors that.
Yeah, but Senator, we're in an emergency, but it's not an emergency. You know what I mean?
Right.
No, I mean, we're in an emergency, but it's just not an emergency. I want to read this triggers to informed decision to move from PCOR 3 to PCOR 4. Do you remember this one? This is the Chalan Parahinemlo. They came out with their whole, like, PCORs, and they set these parameters for us to kind of gauge where we are in this pandemic. And so this is what the administration themselves defined as the characteristics that will move us from PCOR 3, which we're on the same page. We're in PCOR 3 right now, guys, to PCOR 4. Immunity. Ability to confer adequate immunity on Guam, either by mass administration of an FDA-authorized SARS-CoV-2 vaccine, if ever developed, or by the confirmation that enough herd immunity has developed via natural disease and recovery to prevent another outbreak.
We are now, I believe, and I don't want to misquote, I don't know if Public Health continues to join you on your program. It was amazing throughout the time that the emergency was really at its peak, particularly at the surges. But I believe, if not, we are darn close to 90% fully vaccinated of those eligible and have moved on to children aged 5 to 15. You know, and then of course those more in the 17, 18 kind of considered the adult range. Chris, we have almost 20,000, and nobody's been talking about this. We have almost 20,000 individuals who have natural immunity, which means they have been infected. I am one of them. I've been infected by COVID, and now even nationally and on most of the different talk shows, circuits or national media circuits where doctors are coming out, and there's a real strong movement and a discussion of natural immunity. If you put natural immunity with our rate of fully vaccinated individuals, I mean, there's a handful. There's probably a few thousand people left who haven't gotten, who are not fully vaccinated. And there might be a myriad of reasons for that. They may have been told by their doctor not to do it. I'm sure there's a segment of our population that just hasn't gotten the news yet. I don't know who that is, but I think we've all been saying the same thing for almost 2 years. If you have comorbidities, if you are, above the age of 60, if you have, if you're just generally, not keeping up with your health, please go get this vaccination, because you are the one who is going to be the most susceptible to hospitalization, serious illness, and possibly death. The people that have been coming out to the rallies, and the people like Claire Calvo, like, Frank the Crank Camacho, a lot of these other guys, a lot of the people who are still unvaccinated really are individuals who are really, really healthy people, and they have their own personal reasons for not wanting to get, the vaccine. The others, I believe, like myself, who are going to continue to rely on our natural immunity, should have that right to do so. But just by that very calculation that you put out there, Chris, I would challenge any, I'm not trying to be a doctor, or I'm not CDC here. I don't attempt to do that. But I would challenge anyone, because I've heard doctors say that by Guam's numbers, we are way at herd immunity. Hawaii has achieved herd immunity. They have opened up and lifted most, if not all, of the restrictions and pronounced they are open for business. So, Chris, by what you just read, I have a hard time believing that we're not there.
That's why I read it. So let's go to the phones. We have Ed, is a very loyal Link listener. Senator, if you don't mind taking the call.
I'd love to take the call. Have a day, Ed.
Ed.
Dan todo amzu gano gitasi. Kantun tasi dan todo amzu gini gitano dan kantun ni tasi. Buenas dan manana si Jus todo amzu. I just wanted to say this, man. I'm a freaking flyer, Senator. I'm a freaking flyer of this program. Linked it, the link. Hey, anyway, sir, I just wanted to tell you, Senator, I'm a combat veteran, disabled. I refuse that damn vaccine. Como matu rahu, Jesus will be the one I'll meet my maker. I'm ready to go. Hey, whether it's a telephone pole, they bat me, they hit me with a pipe, I'm ready to go. I'm telling you right now, Senator Chris Duenas, you're saying all the damn key points that people are not saying. I'm telling you right now that we should have stayed. Why is it that we don't scrutinize? Why is it we don't criticize and scrutinize? I'm sorry, sir, but please, if you can give me 1 minute, criticize and scrutinize the establishments when they have a COVID positive. Why do we stop doing that? The people deserve to know if so-and-so needs to sanitize their place. If they have a COVID positive, how come that's not public information anymore? Where did we go wrong? It's still a global pandemic, man. Omicron. Okay, bye-bye. Bye-bye, sir, Senator. Thank you.
Thank you, Ed.
Thank you. Hey, thanks, Chris. That's that.
Okay, that's that. Yeah, I want to kind of, on that point that Ed was making, he's right. It's like we weren't getting very much information at the beginning of the pandemic, and then we just really put our foot down and said, hey, people need to know what's going on. And then we had that constant dialogue with public health, with the Physicians Advisory Group when it was chaired by Dr. Hoa Wen. And right now we're just back to where we started from. And I mean, this isn't even just today. I'm talking like weeks back, public health, little to no presence on really any media, live presence. Anybody in communications knows that you can put out your flyers, you can put out your social media videos, but that has to be supplemented by live presence where, people like us can ask questions and get answers and relay the concerns or questions that the public has. And so, I mean, during the surge, Senator, to me, it was like public health checked out. And we had Dr. Berg on here, and Dr. Berg implied that part of the so-called plan was to let the virus run rampant in the community and to achieve this, heralded natural immunity that everyone talks about. And sadly, I feel like that's exactly what happened, is Delta ran through the community, wiped out most of our manamko, and we were just okay with it. And public health, I don't know when they decided that they didn't need to provide the public with information about contact tracing, with information about where positives were during the surge. So Ed has a good point.
Yeah, so just want to Ed for your voice of reason, and thank you for your service. On my chat group and people that I work with, I have a lot of folks that are retired military. They're super fit. They take care of themselves. They've been, getting on me. They've been telling me, look, why aren't we talking about health, and wellness, and how much that, shields us from the disease, and prepares us to be able to stave it off. I still can't believe that on the JIC release, we're not getting updated numbers on how many individuals have gone and taken the monoclonal treatment. Treatment now in the States, particularly in Florida, that's having great success in basically getting rid of COVID. Really, they moved really quickly to make sure that they had different locations whereby individuals who become symptomatic and test positive, that once they start feeling ill, go immediately and get treatment on the monoclonal. Everybody I know, Chris, I know 5 people that are very close to me that got COVID, and 3 of them were vaccinated. And the minute that they started to feel any type of body aches, headaches, and all that, they went and got the monoclonal treatment, and they in 48 hours they are 100%. So my thing is, we haven't shifted, Chris. We got peak course, but we haven't shifted to discussion on all the other topics on how to now maintain every time these surges wane. we got this car score that nobody understands, and it gets trotted out as the number, and also that kind of replaced the reasoning that you just read in the car score or in the PCOR was moved to car score. No, nobody can explain car score. Even physicians can't.
Senator, Jason Solis's math game, I mean, it's up there. I'm talking like MIT level math. This guy can't even figure out the car score.
I know Jason.
No, I'm
is a
totally
smart
serious.
guy,
I mean, I know Dr. Cabrera invented the car score, and he went to Harvard, right? It's something to do with Harvard. Yale. I'm so sorry. Big faux pas there. Yeah, but with the car score, I mean, that's just something we made up here on Guam, and it's so conflicting because the governor continues to use it, but Dr. Berg has come. The one time he came on the show, he was like, "We're not really using the car score anymore." So I don't even know. It seems like they don't even know what we're using, what we're measuring this pandemic by anymore. And I just think it's frustrating that they come out with these parameters. Like, we're not idiots. If you tell us this is how we're going to measure the thing, and this is the ruler for how we're going to measure the conditions, the restrictions, the whatevers, then I think our people of Guam who are very intelligent are going to pay attention to that and use that as the metric. So if they just throw it by the wayside and change all the rules in the middle of the game and then wonder why, we're like, hey, what's going on here? There's just no dialogue, right? So they should have come out and said, okay, PCOR, that was a little faulty. It doesn't really adequately or accurately describe what we're going through, so we're not really using that anymore. Or, hey, the car score is this or that, we're not using it. Or, the governor likes it, so she's going to use it, but everyone else is not going to use it. I don't know. It's confusing. But have we reached the point, Senator? Have we reached the point where you think we just need to... I mean, we're pretty much open other than the mask thing.
I'm leaning that way, Chris, and we can do it. I wanted to wait because, as I said early on, the legislature has the power to shut it down. But I did not want to, and I still don't want to play chicken with the governor. But here's the thing, Chris. What you just mentioned once again is exactly the whole purpose of this bill. Sometimes you get flooded with folks that want to come on your show, put out the information, talk whatever, then something happens or it's not going their way, and all of a sudden they don't want to talk to you anymore, and you are the public. I mean, we consume most of our media from you and other outlets. We don't go and sit down in the governor's conference room to get an update. That's not practical for the people, right? That's what Bill 11's about, and that's what I think the problem is, Chris. They don't want to come down to the legislature and have to say, this is why we still need to be in a public health emergency. Because I think the first question we would ask is explain the car score, and there would be some funky answer.
That would be funny.
The second is, and I just want to cut to the chase, I think this is all about money. I think this is all about the ability to continue to spend hundreds of millions of dollars unchecked. And let me tell you something, Chris. The individuals that the legislature would call down to make sure that we still need to be in a public health emergency would include the fiscal team. And the fiscal team would be put under oath like they are in the committee of the whole all the time. When we have budget hearings or when we have bills that involve money, and under penalty of perjury, they give us information. And if we ask real-time estimates every 30 days, what is your sole source procurement? And don't give us a spreadsheet that we're going to have to ask Jason to show us how to read it.
Yeah, the problem is you guys are holding it upside down, Senator.
You know what? If Jason just told me that, I would have turned it around and figured everything out.
That's kind of the spirit, though.
I said spreadsheet, Senator, and I'm in.
Yeah, that's kind of the issue, Senator. I mean, you look at this Guam Memorial Hospital oversight hearing, right? And you look at this port oversight hearing, where every time you have the legislature trying to do their job, and as the the check and balance on the executive branch, it's like the executive branch just disregards your authority. I mean, with the port, there was a last-second document dump on that committee. There's no way they could go through those documents. With the GMH oversight hearing, same thing. They drop off 5 tons of documents late afternoon, the day before the hearing, and then the hearing ends up being a whole bunch of like, oh, we didn't bring that. Oh, the Xerox machine's broken. Oh, we can't answer that. Oh, we'll get back to you on that. You know what I mean? And it's the same thing with the public health emergency. I mean, it's just hard, very hard to get information.
The speaker did an amazing job the other night, and she's on top of it. Speaker Terlahi really understands, and no matter what pronouncements were made in that hearing, Chris, myself, and all of the other senators that attended, led by the speaker, really were, look, the public is angry and outraged because they want to see more emphasis on patient care delivery. What was presented there was we currently have 77 travel nurses. Where would we be without those 77 travel nurses right now? And we refocused the hearing on retention, recruitment, above step payments for nurses and direct healthcare providers, and we're down 20 healthcare specialists, which is basically doctors and those that are in charge of a lot of the major procedures that need to take place for those who are gravely ill. So the speaker did the right thing to shift that from a PowerPoint presentation that would say this is why everything is okay to no, we asked these direct questions, and now she's following up because there was a lot of lack of documentation in terms of the paper trail. One of my key questions there, Chris, and you're exactly right in terms of wanting to get information, was if in 2008, like Sarah Thomas Nettydog, one of the board members said, if in 2008 that full authority was shifted to just the CEO on above step recruitment, my question was, did it change any of the statutory requirements to justify that above step recruitment? And the answer was no. So now the follow-up, Chris, is to make sure that all of the documentation, even though it's now a sole authority, and I'll report it back to the board in the next meeting, all the documentation of why, justification, everything else is intact and something that we can view not only as senators, but that can be viewed on the website. That's transparency, that's accountability, and make sure that it mirrors with the aggressiveness in ensuring that we're doing that for those who actually are at our bedside trying to save our lives.
Thank you, Senator.
So exactly, Chris, it's just, we want information, and we want information because the people of Guam put us there to do that. That is our job, Chris, and that's all we're trying to do. That's why I said Bill 11, it's not a Governor Lou bill, it's a governor bill. There's gonna be another governor coming down the line, whether it's this next term or beyond that. There's gonna be a whole nother legislature for years and years to come. This is about the rules and doing what's right, not about people or personalities.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for continuing to do your job, because then that's why people like Ed and others, your show's red hot and people watch because they come here to get information. Of course, be entertained. You guys are funny, and then if we have a math problem, we go to Jason.
Yeah, that's what Jason's here for. Well, thank you, Senator, for your time. Appreciate it. And yeah, I feel you. I feel you on it.
No one ever invites me to like any parties or any like fiestas and everything. Like, oh, but we got a math problem. Hey, Jace.
Yep, the human calculator.
Yeah, where's Jason? Hey,
all right,
guys,
Senator.
Thanks a lot for the opportunity, but
right.
I'm going to keep up the fight. We'll see where we go next. The resolution is already prepared in terms of being able to shut it down. But like I said, I think the people of Guam expect more. One thing I've learned, if I've learned anything else in the last 20 years, when you're doing battle, when you've got a problem between the administration and the legislature, make sure you're discussing what's in the best interest of the people, not a political fight, right? And that's what I'm worried about with that, Chris and Jason. I'm worried about that turns into, okay, I'll see you 1 and raise you 100, right? I'm trying math, Jason. And the thing is if we shut it down, 2 minutes later, there's a new executive order. And then what do the people feel like, right? They feel like, wow, we're stuck in the middle of this family fight, right? And that's not what it should be. And that's why that should be a last resort, but it certainly is a resort.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chris. Thanks,
Right
Jason.
All right, happy holidays, Senator.
I like being caught in a family fight. I like it. 7:57, Thursday, December 16th. That's the minority report with Minority Leader Senator Chris Duenas, who had his override of his Bill 11 fail yesterday at the legislature. I think it got 8 votes, but override requires 10. And that was a bill that would it basically, the governor, if she wanted to extend the public health emergency, would have to seek some type of legislative approval. I think she'd have to go down there and say, hey, this is